What started as a normal filming day turned into one of the most emotional scenes ever caught on camera. Yandy Smith, the woman known for holding it together through every scandal, every betrayal, and every fight, finally broke down. Cameras captured the moment she whispered through tears, "I can't trust Mendeecees or Rasheeda anymore." The entire set went silent, according to insiders. The argument started when Rasheeda and Mendeecees were caught having a private conversation behind Yandy's back. One that she wasn't supposed to hear. But when she did, it shattered everything. The tension had been building for weeks, with rumors swirling about secret alliances, sneaky moves, and conversations that crossed personal boundaries. And for Yandy, who spent years defending her relationship and friendships in front of millions, it felt like the ultimate betrayal. Production sources say the breakdown wasn't scripted, it was real. Yandy's voice cracked as she said, "I fought too hard for people who keep lying to my face." Crew members had to stop filming for nearly half an hour just to let her breathe. Even Mendeecees looked frozen, unsure how to explain himself. Rasheeda tried to speak, but Yandy refused to listen. What really happened between them? And what secret conversation pushed Yandy to her breaking point? Insiders say the truth will not only destroy friendships, it could change everything we thought we knew about their marriage. The day had started like any other bright lights. Cameras rolling and producers whispering directions behind the scenes. But no one on set could have predicted how quickly things would spiral out of control. Yandy Smith walked in that morning smiling, radiant as always, ready to film another emotional yet professional scene for the show. But beneath that smile, she had no idea that by the end of the day, her entire trust circle would collapse right in front of her. For weeks, fans had noticed subtle tension between Yandy Mendeecees and Rasheeda. What looked like simple disagreements on camera were actually the surface of something much deeper brewing behind closed doors. Rumors had started spreading that Mendeecees and Rasheeda were spending more time together off-set, supposedly working on a new project that Yandy knew nothing about. It didn't take long for whispers to turn into suspicions and suspicions into heartbreak. According to insiders on set, Yandy found out about a private meeting between the two through a production assistant who overheard them talking. What made it worse was that Rasheeda, someone Yandy had trusted for years, had been keeping it from her. And when Yandy asked Mendeecees about it, he brushed it off, saying it's nothing serious, just business. But the way he avoided eye contact told her everything she needed to know. Something wasn't right. That morning, when the cameras started rolling, Yandy decided to confront them both. The scene was supposed to be lighthearted, but Yandy's energy shifted the moment she sat down. Her arms folded, her tone calm but cutting. So she said, looking directly at Rasheeda, "Are we going to keep pretending like I don't know what's going on?" Rasheeda froze. Mendeecees glanced at the producers, unsure if this was part of the script or something much more real. "Yandy, what are you talking about?" Rasheeda said nervously, trying to smile through the tension. But Yandy wasn't having it. "Don't play with me, Rasheeda. I know about the meeting, the one you had with Mendeecees. And before you start lying, just know I already heard everything." The air on set went thick. You could feel the silence vibrating. Rasheeda looked at Mendeecees for backup, but he just sighed, leaning back in his chair. "It wasn't like that," he said softly. "Then what was it like?" Yandy snapped. "Because the last time I checked, friends don't hold secret meetings with my husband about business deals that don't involve me." Rasheeda tried to speak, but Yandy cut her off. "No, you don't get to talk your way out of this one. You were supposed to be my friend," according to production staff. That's when Yandy's voice cracked. For years, she'd stood by Mendeecees through thick and thin, through his time away, through rumors, through constant public scrutiny. She'd fought to keep her family strong. And Rasheeda had been right there beside her, acting like a sister. But now both of them had crossed a line she couldn't ignore. Mendeecees tried to calm her down. "Babe, please. You're overthinking this. We were just don't call me babe right now," Yandy said, her eyes filling with tears. "You lied to me, both of you. And for what? A business deal, a few checks." By that point, Rasheeda was crying too. She insisted she hadn't meant any harm, that the meeting was about something that could help all three of them in the future. But Yandy wasn't buying it. Then why hide it from me? Why wait until I find out from somebody else? If it was so innocent, you would have told me. The producers let the cameras keep rolling. It was raw, emotional, and real. But after a few minutes, they had to step in. Yandy's breathing became uneven, and she started shaking her head, whispering under her breath, "I can't do this." Crew members rushed in with tissues and water, trying to comfort her, but Yandy wasn't hearing anyone. She stood up, removed her mic, spove, and walked off set. People who were there said she was crying uncontrollably as she paced outside. "I can't trust them," she said over and over. "I can't trust Mendeecees or Rasheeda anymore." Those words were caught by a nearby camera, and everyone knew this wasn't just another love and hip-hop argument. This was real heartbreak for years. Yandy had been the glue, the woman who always tried to hold everything together, who believed love and loyalty could fix anything. But in that moment, she realized the people closest to her had been keeping secrets. And that shattered something deep inside her. Mendeecees followed her outside, trying to fix the situation. "Yandy, please listen. It wasn't about you. It was about something I was trying to surprise you with." But Yandy wasn't convinced. A surprise doesn't come with lies. "Mendeecees, you know what hurts the most? You let me look stupid in front of everybody." The cameras kept their distance, but even from afar, you could see the pain on Yandy's face. Rasheeda stayed inside, sobbing quietly, while producers debated whether to stop filming for the day. But Yandy eventually came back inside. Determined to finish what she started, she sat back down, wiped her tears, and looked at both of them. "You know what's crazy?" Sis said. "I've defended you both for years. I've put my name on the line for people who wouldn't even tell me the truth. I built this family, and this is how y'all treat me." Her voice trembled, but her words were steady. The kind of pain that only comes when love turns into disappointment. Mendeecees tried again to explain, but the damage was already done. Yandy didn't want apologies. She wanted honesty, and it was clear she wasn't getting it as filming wrapped. Producers called it a day. But everyone knew this scene would become one of the most talked about moments in franchise history. Yandy sat alone in her dressing room afterward, staring at the floor, her makeup smeared and her eyes red. Someone close to her said she whispered to herself, "I'm tired of being the strong one. Nobody ever has my back." Outside the studio, Rasheeda was seen leaving quietly, visibly shaken. Reporters caught her looking emotional as she got into her car. When asked if she and Yandy were still friends, she just shook her head and said, "I hope one day she'll understand." But for Yandy, understanding wasn't the problem. It was forgiveness. After everything she'd been through, betrayal from her husband and her closest friend, she turned to him sharply, her voice trembling with frustration. "That's the problem. You never jump in. You let people disrespect me and then act like it's nothing. You think I can trust you after that?" The whole set was tense. Even Rasheeda, who had just walked in with her hair slicked back and sunglasses still on, froze mid-step. She could feel the daggers Yandy's eyes were throwing her way. But Rasheeda wasn't one to back down. "Girl, you doing the most," she said, laughing slightly. "Ain't nobody plotting against you. You just mad 'cause you always think somebody's trying to take your spotlight." Yandy stood up slowly, her hands shaking. "Spotlight? You think this about fame? I thought we were family. I thought after everything, after the cameras stopped, the money, the arguments, we had something real." The producers exchanged nervous glances. This wasn't the scripted kind of drama they expected. This was raw, emotional, and way too real. Mendeecees finally spoke up, trying to regain control. "Yo, Rasheeda, maybe you should just let it go. She's upset." But Rasheeda wasn't done. She stepped closer, her voice dripping with mock sympathy. "Oh, I'm not the one who needs to let it go. Maybe you should tell her what you really said, Mendeecees. You want to keep playing innocent?" The room went silent. The tension could have been cut with a knife. Yandy's expression hardened, and she turned to Mendeecees with disbelief. "What is she talking about?" He sighed. his jaw tightening. She twisting it, he muttered under his breath. But Rasheeda smirked. Nah, don't play dumb now. You told me yourself you didn't know if you could trust Yandy with everything. You said she's been moving funny lately. Yandy's breath hitched. You said that? She whispered. Her voice was so soft it barely carried across the room. But everyone heard it. Mendeecees looked helpless. It wasn't like that. I was venting. Yandy? You've been cold, distant, she cut him off? No, don't you dare flip this on me. I've been holding you down for years. Through the jail time, through the rumors, through everything. And you standing here talking about not trusting me? The tears that had welled up in her eyes finally spilled over. Rasheeda crossed her arms, satisfied with the chaos she'd stirred. Guess that's your cue, Mendeecees. Handle your business, she said, turning to leave. But Yandy wasn't done. You don't walk away from this, she called out. You don't get to play victim after trying to tear apart a marriage. Rasheeda turned around, the faintest smirk still on her lips. You did that all by yourself, sweetheart. Before anyone could react, Yandy lunged forward. Security had to jump in between them, pushing both women apart. Rasheeda's sunglasses flew off, crashing to the ground while Yandy yelled through tears. I trusted you. I called you my sister. The chaos echoed through the studio. The sound crew scrambled to protect the equipment, but the drama was too explosive to contain. Cameras rolled, catching every second. Mendeecees stood frozen in the middle of it all, his expression hollow. He'd lost control of the situation, of the people he loved, of everything when security finally managed to separate them. Yandy was still crying. You broke me, she said quietly, turning to Mendeecees. You and her, you broke me in ways I didn't think possible. He tried to step closer, his voice low. Yandy, please? But she stepped back, shaking her head. Don't, just don't, the director yelled. Cut. But no one moved. The air was thick with everything unsaid, betrayal, regret, and heartbreak. Yandy walked out first, wiping her tears, her heels echoing down the hallway. Rasheeda smirked again, whispering to a crew member, she'll be back. She always comes back. But this time, everyone could tell Yandy was done pretending. The producers huddled together, whispering about how the scene was going to break the internet. But deep down, even they knew what just happened wasn't for ratings. It was real pain on full display. And Mendeecees. He sat there in silence, staring at the floor, realizing he might have just lost the one person who always fought for him. The morning after the blow-up on set, Yandy didn't show up for filming. Her dressing room lights stayed off, and her phone went straight to voicemail. The producers panicked, not because they were missing a cast member, but because the entire storyline now hinged on her next move. Mendeecees sat alone in the makeup chair, scrolling through old photos of them on his phone, smiling, laughing, holding hands. The guilt was heavy, almost suffocating. Meanwhile, Rasheeda arrived with a coffee in hand and a smirk that said she'd already moved on. Y'all can stop worrying, she told the crew casually. She'll come around. Yandy loves a dramatic comeback. But the way she said it made it sound less like confidence and more like a challenge. Back at home, Yandy sat curled on her couch, scrolling through social media comments. Fans had already picked sides. Hashtags like #TeamYandy and #TrustIsBroken were trending. Her eyes welled up again as she read messages from strangers telling her to know her worth and walk away. She wanted to believe them, that she could walk away from all the pain, all the public embarrassment. But it wasn't that easy. This was her family, her legacy, her love, even if it felt shattered now. Her best friend called, trying to console her. Girl, you don't owe him or that show anything, she said firmly. You gave Mendeecees everything you had. If he can't see that, then that's on him. Yandy sighed, staring blankly out the window. It's not just him. It's Rasheeda. I never thought she'd play me like that. We've been through too much for her to twist things like this. Her friend's voice softened. Some people only stand with you when it benefits them. Once the spotlight hits, loyalty fades. Yandy wiped her tears. I just wanted to be respected. Not worshipped, not pitied, just respected. Later that day, Mendeecees showed up unannounced. The cameras weren't there this time. He looked tired, his voice low as he knocked on the door. "Yandy, please open up. Just talk to me." For a moment, silence. Then the sound of the lock turning. Yandy appeared, eyes red but steady. "You've got 2 minutes," she said. He nodded slowly, stepping inside. "I didn't mean to hurt you." Rasheeda twisted what I said. "Yeah, I said I was unsure, but it wasn't about trust. It was about how distant things felt. I didn't know where we stood anymore." She folded her arms. "You could have told me that. Instead, you told her." He nodded again. "You're right. I messed up. I should have come to you first. But I swear I never meant for it to go this far." Her expression softened, but only slightly. "You stood there and let her humiliate me. You let her talk like that while cameras rolled. How do you come back from that?" He swallowed hard, his voice cracking. "Because I love you, Yandy. I don't care what it takes. I'll earn that trust again. Care what it takes. I'll earn that trust again." But she shook her head. "Love isn't enough anymore. You've said that before. Every time something breaks, you promise to fix it, and then we end up right back here." There was silence. Heavy, painful silence. Mendeecees looked down, his voice barely audible. "So, what now?" Yandy exhaled shakily. "Now I heal. With or without you." He looked up at her, eyes glistening. "So you done?" Her voice trembled, but she didn't hesitate. "I'm done being the only one fighting." He nodded slowly, accepting the words like a punch to the gut. "Then I'll give you space. But Yandy, I'll never stop trying." He turned to leave. The camera crew waiting outside caught the moment the door closing softly behind him, the sound echoing like an ending. Back on set, Rasheeda was sitting in her chair when a producer whispered something in her ear. She raised a brow. "She's not coming back?" she asked, pretending to be surprised, but the producer's tone was firm. "No, she's done. For real this time. And the network's not happy." "You went too far," Rasheeda's smirk faltered. "Wait, y'all blaming me for this?" The producer crossed his arms. "You wanted drama. You got it. But now we're losing one of the biggest stars on the show. That's not entertainment, that's chaos." For the first time, Rasheeda didn't have a comeback. She looked down, realizing the cost of her actions, not just to Yandy, but to her own image. The internet was dragging her mercilessly. Fans were calling her toxic, jealous, a snake. That night, Yandy posted a simple message on Instagram. "Peace is louder than any argument. Sometimes walking away is the real power." The comments flooded in. Celebrities, fans, even former cast members showed support. "We love you, sis. You did the right thing. Stand tall." Mendeecees saw the post too. He didn't comment, didn't like it. He just stared at it for a long time, realizing she was truly gone the next week. Filming resumed without Yandy. Rasheeda tried to bring her usual energy, but the set felt hollow. Every argument, every scene, every fake smile felt forced. Mendeecees was quieter than ever, barely engaging, behind the scenes. Producers whispered about a possible spin-off for Yandy, her comeback story, on her own terms. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's storyline was collapsing. The audience wasn't buying her apologies or confessions. They wanted authenticity. And they'd already chosen their side. In a final confessional, Yandy sat in a cozy studio, her tone calm but resolute. "I used to think loyalty meant standing by someone no matter what. But now I realize real loyalty starts with yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't fix people who keep breaking you." She smiled softly, her voice trembling just a little. "So I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing me." Fade out. The screen went dark, and for the first time in a long time, Yandy felt something she hadn't felt in years. Freedom. What do you think about this explosive moment between Yandy, Mendeecees, and Rasheeda? Did Yandy make the right decision walking away from all that toxicity? Or do you think she should have given Mendeecees one more chance? This drama has fans completely split, with some saying Mendeecees didn't mean any harm, while others believe Yandy finally woke up to the truth. that she's been carrying the whole relationship alone for far too long. And let's be real, Rasheeda's role in all this. It's got social media in flames. Some people are calling her the villain of the season, while others claim she just said what everyone else was thinking. But was it really honesty, or was it envy disguised as keeping it real? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? Team Yandy, Team Mendeecees, or Team Rasheeda? And if you think this was wild, just wait till you see what's coming next. Rumors say this drama isn't over, not by a long shot. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned, because when it comes to this crew, peace never lasts long. Never lasts long.